Okay, just quickly checking if it's all working.
No.
And it probably is. Checking. Yes, it's working. Alright, so I was just talking with Dan on Discord, and we talked about a few things regarding design of the units. So he had some ideas for mages and for their personalities and stuff. And why am I in full screen? That was too much of me. Alright, this is better. Now the camera is not positioning on a good screen because I'll be watching here all the time. Never mind. Wait. Okay. I should probably not even use this desktop and yeah, look this way. So what I'm saying, that we were talking about some of these units, and I figured let's just talk about this stuff while streaming. And so if anybody else is interested or have anything to add, we are here. But I think Dan is not here right now, so I'm going to talk a little bit about some quests and whatnot. And when he arrives, we're gonna start talking about this. Okay. So on the chain main quest. So there are going to be main quests that are not a main quest, but quests that have to happen every time you play, exactly at the same time. For instance, this is summary of what the game is going to be story-like, and then at one point, pretty soon after your second pit game, the farmer will appear, and there is your first quest with farmer. So this has to appear because then you will get the farmer. Oh no, here, yeah. So you'll get the farm button here that you can visit anytime and buy food there. And at the point where this appears, then we can start adding random quests from the farmer. So in this case, just a moment, I did not even turn on the chat. Okay, so if anybody wrote anything, Dan, if you're maybe here, I don't know, I did not see anything because I forgot to turn on the chat. Okay. Where were I? Yeah, so there are some fixed quests, like, alright, farmer appears and he says blah blah blah, he has some problem, and then you can solve it one way or another, and then you can have random pool of quests so that you can play second time, and you will be getting same quests but not in the same order, and maybe not even all the quests that you would get the first time you play. So that would be that. Then the next quest would appear at rank 2. So you would have these ranks. I don't know if we have them here. I don't have any good example of this, but imagine after you won, you would get some victory window here, and it would say victory blah 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 or lose, and then there would be this rank, and this is actually where you are right now, and there would be like 10 leagues. I cannot pull the straight line. So 10 leagues all the way up there, and you would start from the bottom. So when you reach the first one, you are in the second league. When you reach the second one, and then as you're reaching the new ones, you get new characters, new upgrades, and the quests are kind of connected to this. So for instance, when you reach the number 2, you get these undeads, Church of the Dead. So this high necromancer show up, and he's a really friendly guy, and he says like, hey, so listen, we like you, we support these games, and here is the undead crypt, and then you can actually buy undeads from him. He even sends you 2 of their warriors to like free stuff from him. So player would be probably pretty happy with Church of the Dead, while town, we need another quest here before farmer or in between where something with town happens, and they're pretty much jerks. I just remembered that I might No, I'm fine, I'm fine. Okay, I thought I was not loud enough. So basically that is that. And then when undead guys appear, they seem pretty good. And what they are doing is that they have their own religion in many places, Church of the Dead in many regions, and here they are actually rising dead from the graveyards, and then they are doing whatever. They are maybe sending them to the war, because there is a big war going on at this whole time, and also they might actually sell dead for anybody who needs another, well, warrior or somebody who can do some work. So that is what they are doing, and we will come back at this very soon. So then there is some bandit attack that you need to handle, and at rank 3, now I don't have the same screenshot because I did not save it, but if you remember, here at rank 3 there are 10 ranks total. So at rank 3 the Church of the Dead appears again. So this nice old dude, High Necrodancer, he's like, oh, our business is being compromised, outlaws are charging us entry to the graveyard and we can't rise dead. So they have a huge problem and they ask you to help them, but they're actually going to pay you pretty good money, like 150 gold or 3 fighters to choose. That would work like this: you would go to their Church of the Dead well, place, and then there would be, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 warriors that you can buy, but if they gave you some free ones, you can actually choose any of them for free. So this is what they offer, and it sounds pretty fair, plus reputation will rise with them, so the warriors will be cheaper, and then you can decide what you want from these 2 rewards, or to tell them not to do anything. But then when you go and try to solve this problem, so player would expect, yeah, alright, I'm gonna be fighting some bandits right now or whatever, and then it turns out the outlaws, even though Slan, the goblin, thought they were talking about bandits that were in forest and that are, well, the same guys who attacked you before. Turns out outlaws are just people from the town who are not happy with undead Church of the Dead raising their dead. So this is the thing, they were willing to let it slide if the Church of the Dead would raise dead and send them to war, because it would save, like, alive people lives and they would have bigger chance to win the war, so it's all good. But now, when the pit games are legal again, these guys from Church of the Dead are rising dead and then selling them to fighting troops like you as a player that are holding one, and then you're pretty much using their dead for entertainment. So imagine somebody rising some of your dead relative, like some granddad or somebody, and then sending them in the town square to fight for fun with other fighters. So they were actually pissed off by that, and that's why they are not that's why they don't let necromancers do their thing. And then you actually, the Slan points it out that you actually have right to kill them if they attack Necrodancer, because you have some kind of agreement to help them, to protect them, and they are the ones being attacked. So if these outlaws or town people do anything, it's going to be on their you're legally able to do anything. So what you can then choose, I didn't write this thing yet, but it would be kind of interesting because it is moral dilemma first, because you really have good relations with this High Necromancer and the Church of the Dead, and terrible relation with town, but town people are kind of right. And also, if you help High Necromancer, you would get high reputation, some gold or some fighters, and if you help town, you will rise a little bit in the town's reputation, not too much, but still your reputation with town is way more important, and it's already really low because all your other fighters that are not undead you're buying from the town. So there is mechanical and at the same time the, well, moral dilemma that you need to choose there. Oh, Dan, you're here. Well done on making dark side feel more neutral. Yeah, I don't want it to be exactly too much of a dark side. I mean, yeah, they're obviously dark side, they're rising dead, but on one side it makes sense because they're doing a good thing. They're sending, well, almost like creating creatures to go to war instead of their men who would lose their families would lose their fathers and whatnot. But on the other hand, the law is not really clear what necromancers can do with the dead, because so far they were just mostly using it to help with the war and everything, but now that these pit games are legal again, nobody really said what can the necromancers do with these undead, and that's why now there is this dilemma. And I really like this kind of surprise quests, and actually you wrote the one with Cat and the Trinad, is that how it's? Triant, I guess. And I love this one, that's really good. Actually have it somewhere here. You will probably have to go into the region 2 when players already know what the behemoth beasts are and how they can capture them if they defeat them, and so that's a bit kind of more advanced feature, but here it is. Well, even if you send a corpse to war, it is still the feeling, so even that can be an offense to people. Yeah, that is already at the limits, and some are... nobody's happy, but some of them are like, we don't want this, but most of them are, alright, it's a really serious war with these demons, with this Fae whole nation that they took over, so they can kind of... they're kind of on the brink, but this pushes the limit, using them for these games. And then you are actually put in this position to be the guy who is actually holding the team of these games, and these undeads, they're pretty cheap, so they can help you rise through the ranks faster, but you're losing reputation. I was thinking about, we might actually do a thing that every time you send some undead warriors to fight, you lose just a little bit of a reputation with town. Like there is a bar from 1 to 100, and you would lose maybe 1 or 2 points every time you do this, but you at the same time used characters that are way cheaper, and so you can kind of balance this out. And if you use only dead, your reputation with town will go down, and Church of the Dead can't really provide that much dead warriors, and they are not as strong, so you probably won't be able to push, no, not probably, you definitely cannot push through the whole game with just using the dead. So there is that. Okay, so let's go back to these units. That's why I actually wanted to stream. I don't have much time, I have to go soon, but I figured that this is kind of maybe a faster way to go through this. Let's see. So about Fire Mage. For her, yeah, personality would be something like, did you play maybe League of Legends? You know, Jinx character. She's like... what? Did I write it wrong? Oh. Ah, there she is. You played LOL, us. So, little bit like her, kind of crazy. Alright, she's kind of goofy and cartoony also, so, but kind of really crazy character, and with almost no, how to say, yeah, like you said, psychotic, pretty much psychotic. But I don't want her to be dressed in that like lunatic clothes, because I want her to be like really mage looking. I'm actually we will most likely have this as a title screen. one orc warrior with axe and, you know, angry face, and then he's attacking and charging, and on the other side the mage, this female mage that is like looking even crazier, but she's cute and good looking, but also insane, you know. And they would be kind of in a clash, like starting to battle, and then around them would be people cheering in some kind of arena. So this is the idea right now, and this same thing would be here. So this icon would be actually, if we name it Stage of Death and Glory or Stage of Blood and Fire, that title, and then these two characters. And so yeah. Oh, it's spelled Jinx. What you looked up was a Pokemon. What about the restraining gear such as face mask and metal box cutoffs? I don't think so. We will go there with her. I think I want her to have like fully visible face, particularly because of that main menu screen that I imagined. I feel like that explains a lot, because it shows that alright, they're orcs, elf, mages, and it's some stage, some arena. What is that? I feel like it explains the game well enough. Though we might do something like that with some mask or somebody even crazy or something with some other character. We can see. I like the idea, but I really like this concept as well. So, and Pyromancer, I think we can call her just Pyromancer. I think that is better than Fire Mage. And about Ice Mage, yes, sure, we can make him male, no problems. I haven't really thought about Ice Mage too much. I thought about some spells, but they did not write them here, so maybe I'm gonna do that now. And about his personality, what did you say? He's been kind of artistic and cool, not cold, but creative and cool and silent. I think that could work, especially because of the crazy contrast from Ice Mage and Pyromancer. Yes, a calm and wandering mind. Quiet type, right? Right, accepting. Yeah. We were talking about this yesterday, like what if we can have... It's a good thing that you pointed out that we need some personalities for characters, of course. But then the thing is that we have you can have 3 mages in your place, so we might do that, and they might just have the same personality. It's like copy-paste unit, and it is what it is, it's a game. But another way we could maybe do it, if Kickstarter does really well and we can actually afford this, but the fun thing would be maybe to have a bit of a different personalities. Not completely, like she's a crazy mage and every mage is crazy mage, but then maybe one is a bit, I don't know, well, I don't know how much you can adjust crazy mage personality, but some of them would be kind of adjustable. For instance, Orc could be somebody who is like calm and somebody who is crazy and attack and aggressive. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that would be too much. And how many personalities can we really have? Maybe better to just stick with one thing, and then player would know, alright, I have mage, this is what the mage is, and they would kind of have to buy the idea of every mage being the same. Like, it's not a real life simulation anyway. It's... yeah, I think that would be the best thing at the end. Plus there is so many lines anyway. We want lines where do we want lines? We want lines where they are entering the battle. So here, as they are entering, one of them could be taunting somebody from here, so this guy would be blinking and there would be like a exclamation mark, or what do you call it? It's like this thing, and then he would be blinking, kind of maybe some glow around him, and he's like saying maybe something taunting, maybe he's offending somebody random, maybe he's targeting some somebody specifically, and then somebody's answering that taunt, and they might answer something like get ready for glorious death or something stupid like that, or maybe they're actually going to use his race. So they're going to say keep your tongue between your teeth, orc, or something about how they're stupid or anything like that. So there is a lot of lines already, so probably personalities for voice acting would be crazy for same characters, different personalities. So yeah, one character, one personality, I think that's the way to go. Accepting, yeah, it's an we can have a mix of two. What do you mean, mix of what two? And now let's see. We can think about some Ice Mage abilities. So Frostwind, a mix of quoting style. You mean the taunt and response like two, or yeah, there would be several things that they could say. For instance, if we have like, I don't know, maybe we have a dwarf that is having some mortal and he can fire that up, but he needs 5 seconds to prepare it, and he's kind of like a mage right now, so he's preparing tuk, 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 and if nobody stops him and he's about to fire it, he maybe says something like ready to launch, or I don't know, something funnier, but yeah. So during the battle they would actually be yelling, or if somebody kills somebody, somebody can say something like take, maybe depends how deep we can actually do this, but if for instance elf was taunting orc and then orc kills that elf, he might say like how do you like that elf now, or we'll see how deep we can go with it. But basic idea is, yes, that we would actually have them communicate during the battle, pretty much just short phrases where they yell at each other and offend each other. Okay, so also when you tell them go train in camp or go, I don't know, on a quest or something like that, again they could say something. So there is a lot of lines that we can have there, but it would make them that much juicier, and it would show their personality, maybe a little bit of the world, and so it would be a nice thing. Okay, Ice Mage. I had like 5 ability ideas for him, and now let's see if I can remember any. So Ice Wall, yeah, Ice Wall is imagine so somebody throwing some arrow, and then the mage would create a wall that would block the arrow, and that wall could block several arrows, but people can just walk through it. So that would be one ability. We only need to figure out how to know when the arrow is fired. We can do that. We need to know when the arrow is fired, where it's flying, so that our mage has enough time to cast the spell in front of it. But it could be doable. We also want some abilities with this. These are harder, but cleric. It would be really cool if we can make this. Imagine arrow flying, and cleric would actually, let's say this is arrow and it's about to hit this orc, it's flying here, and then cleric, or wait, let's say it's all the way here, the arrow, and then the cleric is over here, and he predicts when it's going to hit the orc, where the arrow will be when he reaches this point. So kind of he has to calculate some middle ground between him and arrow, and then he dashes here with a shield, and arrow bounces back to some enemy unit. It might be tricky to do, but if we manage to do it, it will be pretty cool ability. Sure, if you have any ideas here. Ice Wall, Frostwind. Frostwind basically is like he throws some wind at a bunch of them and they're all slowed down. Attack, casting, movement. Of course, he could have some damaging. He will have some damaging spells for sure. Although he can be a bit more of a support than his attacker. Maybe combination. Yeah, probably combination. It would make sense that he can make some damage, but... can they say stuff in middle of the battle when they use their ability? Yeah, exactly. So for instance, when Mage, when she casts her crazy fireball spell that takes 5 seconds of casting and it's coming down from the sky, she starts laughing like crazy person and yelling something like, I don't know, I have nothing right now, but there is a lot of options that can go on there, like, I smell burning meat or something, whatever crazy thing that she would say. And then when they kill somebody, they could say something. Maybe they could say something when they are asking for help. Like imagine one footman. Orcs wouldn't do that, but some other characters like footman, if he's surrounded by 2 or 3 orcs, he might yell something like a little help here or whatever, and you know, nobody will really come to help him unless it's a support character like priest, or when somebody's damaged. But still, we need to kind of read the battle and based on that send these. A lot of material to work with. I'm excited to begin. Yeah. Another thing that we want is for code to be able to read the battle well enough, because we want this camera to... Okay, we will let player move wherever he wants and zoom in and zoom out, but at the same time we want like a checkbox that is automatic camera. And what it does, it first maybe zooms out when there is a big battle, and then if maybe just few units are here fighting, then it would zoom to them. So it needs to understand what is actually going on the battle for camera and for voice acting, but especially for because a lot of this game is actually just you watching the game, and it is going to be really Twitch friendly, where you can actually join and play through Twitch, and then we would need this camera to work really nice. Okay, let's see about some abilities for Ice Mage, or oops. I wasn't sure about the name when you mentioned it, but then I googled and see that this is actually... I didn't even know this word. Right. So it's involving or producing cold, especially extreme cold. That is like a perfect perfect name or word for what the mage, Ice Mage, is doing. Latin, huh? I'm not a big fan of using too much Latin stuff, because if people don't understand it, like Pyro, that is very acceptable, everybody knows what it is, and Pyromancer is as clear as Fire Mage. Pyromancer is a bit less, I think, but still I think it's... How do you...
Cryo.
Cryo, whoa.
Cryomancer.
Cryomancer. But I think it will do. I think it's not that crazy to use that. Yeah, way more original than Ice Mage. Huh. Never heard of cryogenic? I did, but I have no idea what it is, but I heard. Uh-huh. What is that? Some freezing? Huh. People freezing themselves, waiting for aging cure. Or... Okay, I'm gonna write a bit of her personality here as well, so... Overly enthusiastic, like all crazy and jumpy and whatnot. What do you mean by absolute cold? Like absolute zero? Overly enthusiastic. What would describe her also? Well, crazy. That's obvious, but alright. Crazy and sure, personality. Calm, creative, calculated, I guess. Not that calculated. Calm, creative. Wait, you had some good examples here. Wandering mind, yeah. That's good. Use different color. The quotes I will write will help the voice actors understand the characters too. Yeah. Let's use this color for personality so it stands out. Okay. All your abilities. Yeah. Freeze. Legs. Foots. Or freeze to the ground, maybe. It's not going to be called like that, probably, but ground freeze. Okay. That is closer, but it could use some different name, but not as bad. So it would freeze enemies' feet to the ground for n, that is any number depending on the upgrade, seconds. So ground freeze. If he can freeze, so this is a great combination. You put Archer and you put Cryomancer. Cryomancer freezes. For instance, they are fighting against two orcs. One, this Cryomancer freezes foots from one orc, so this guy can't even move for like 5 seconds. And then for the other orc, he slows him down with Frostwind, for instance. And even if there are 3 orcs, they might be able to win, because they have no protection against Archer, and Cryomancer is not letting them move really fast, so that could be a great combination. And that's the whole thing about this game, having these intersect characters that you're actually combining. And by the way, for anybody who is listening, if you guys have any questions or ideas, this is the game that we are making, and we talk about this every week at the end of the workday and sometimes on weekend like this. So right now we are talking about well, different characters that we would have fighting in this crazy epic world arena. You can see here orcs and some soldiers. So what other spells we could have? This isn't like a ice mage with a bit different name for now. Cryomancer. What else? What else? There, we should have some damaging ability as well. So perhaps he can freeze arrows or something, but he already has ice wall that is stopping arrows. So maybe something that... okay, thank you. Yeah. Freeze arrow. Okay, so damaging ability, let's see. So obvious one would be just frostbolt or something, but let's see if there is something more interesting than that. And also, I want the game to be at least a little bit realistic. We can't have it totally realistic. For instance, Fire Mage is going to shoot at a group of the units, and if all the units are fighting already, if everybody is damaged, then well, we cannot make them smart enough, probably, to decide when it's worthy to damage your opponents or your allies or not. So, your allies are not being damaged by your Fire Mage. So that's not realistic. But the realistic part would be that if somebody starts burning, they most likely they won't stop burning until the end of the match, or until some priest pacifies, somebody can actually remove that burning, that fire from them with a spell. So for ice, I don't want actually like ice ball that freezes somebody for some time and then they unfreeze and go and fight. I mean, they are frozen, they are done. If they are frozen, that's crazy thing. So this ice ground is just small ice that connects their feet with the ground, which is not as crazy, right? But so I don't want really total freeze. What could there be done? He is doing all these kind of shootings, and what would you do if it's a real world and you're fire, you're frost mage? One of the only ways to for Cryomancer to hurt people other than straight up goring them with ice shard is by dealing damage to them by lowering their body temperature. That would slow and deal damage over time. Okay. Yeah, that's more in the realistic world. So lowering their body temperature. That is more like a debuff. That is actually more like this frost wind. This is lowering their all the temperature around them, and they start moving slower and casting and attacking slower. I'm not sure. Frostbite, maybe something like that, so it would make wounds. Dying of cold is actually proven to be one of the most peaceful ways to die. I heard that too, yeah. Like, it's not even cold at that point, it's just nice, you fall asleep. Good to know. No, there isn't any cold areas around here. Not that cold, at least. Ice. Come on, some ice shards, yeah. Maybe just firing ice shard for now. Ice shard shot. Or just ice shard. Fires ice shard. Damaging. Fires ice shard. Giving them damage. That would be basic, like almost like a Spider-Man shooting web. Yeah. Okay, Let's move on to something else. What else is there? Yeah, here is your swamp quest idea. That is like the plant, and the thing here is that one plant would bring all your units, and then you would need to position them better. Maybe this plant is always positioning them at the same center point, so you can abuse that. Maybe you, I don't know, make 3 mages, send 3 mages, because they are all in the center. You can just put yours on the side, so some of yours would die probably, but all of them will die because they're all on the center of the stage or something like that. And yeah, okay, I guess that would be it. Alright, Pyromancer, maybe we can think of something else for Pyromancer also. For Blazing Sky, Burning Shield, Quick Teleport. Maybe here we can have some sort of dash. Ice dash, I don't know. But what is that really? Even a Quick Teleport is a bit weird. Yeah, I don't like quick teleport for her, because all of her magic should be focused on fire. That's what she is good at. That's like what they're training her for. So maybe she doesn't have a quick way of moving. And we're bringing this back to Priest. What else do we have here? Invigorator. This guy could be male also. Purifier, alright. Again, if she needs a way to deal with melee enemies. I got the... Yeah, I actually added it. It's right here. Shotgun finger. Yeah, makes sense. If one enemy approaches, she can burn him with that. Or several of them. Now, that will be the interesting thing. So they are going to be different. Maybe maybe one Pyromancer has Blazing Sky, really high level Blazing Sky, and that's that meteor that drops from the sky, damages a lot of people. But then maybe another one would have a Shotgun Finger and Firebolt, so she's way different. She can deal some damage, not as much, but she can actually take care of herself if somebody approaches. Some of them are good for more units, some of them are good for fighting a single unit. So basically we can go crazy with adding abilities because they are randomly assigned, so she will only have 1 or 2 unless she's a demon version or fey version of herself, then she'll have a lot. Man Assassin, alright. Okay. That. What else? What else can we have for fire or frost mage? Maybe we can have shield here. Yeah, frost shield, and that shield would breaks on first hit, but freezes enemies. That slows down enemy attack, casting, and movement, as well as freezing their legs, their feet to the ground for 10 seconds, probably shorter. But still, this is way for him to escape. So somebody approaches, he puts that shield, gets defended from that one attack. For instance, if orc, that's why he would be good against orc, because he can put that shield, he can survive that X attack that would actually kill anybody who is not super armored, and then it freezes the orc, so he has time to move out, and then keeps maybe firing ice shots or ground freeze. That's alright. Fire mage. There is not much about igniting them here. I haven't. Maybe I should write this here. Fire. Burning. If enemy is set on fire, the fire can. The fire will stay on until somebody removes it with a spell, or the game, not the game bar, the battle ends. So that is like damage over time that is going to last forever. So it might not be as strong. I mean, it's pretty strong, it's fire, but it could take like 15 seconds maybe to kill somebody, 10 seconds. But it should also do something with his behavior. I mean, if somebody is burning, they're not going to like be chill and move slowly to attack another enemy. Yeah. Fire, I think fire should actually behave like fear ability in World of Warcraft, where he's put on fire, he just starts running and losing health, and if somebody doesn't help that person, it is done. And that's why mage is super powerful, but she has long cooldowns, a long casting time, and usually not as strong in person, unless maybe she has this close range ability that is faster. Burning deals damage over time and sets units to run around. Deals damage over time and sets units to run around. Nah, fire should not access poison. She should do mostly burst damage. Yes, for fire that is not something that can set somebody on fire. But maybe different abilities can do that. Although there is argument that fire should either set everybody on fire or it shouldn't, because it's clearer that way. Okay, I'm gonna write this and I'm gonna rethink it. I mean, I'm gonna think about it some more. Burning deals damage over time and sets unit to run around until somebody removes it, priest, or they die. Battle ends or they die. But yeah, it would be kind of too powerful if it would do this every time. So I gotta put it here under consideration. Yeah. I want to think about this, but this makes priest unnecessary, gives player less options in making teams. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, maybe that is too powerful, but yeah, but because every single ability would need to do this, so yeah, it would maybe make more sense if it's like you said, a poison or something, I don't know. But again, it's cool. I imagine how awesome it would look if like there is a meteor falling from the ground, hitting them, and they are all on fire, running around like crazy. But again, a bit too powerful. But kind of cool. Imagine like 10 ghouls running, and then you send one pyromancer and I don't know, cleric and a warrior. And cleric and a warrior are holding the line, and they're going to lose pretty soon. But mage is casting, and when it hits, everybody gets set on fire and starts running around. So that is cool, but on the other hand, a bit too powerful. Unless it lasts for some time. Lasts like for 2 seconds. They run around for 2 seconds and then... and only with some abilities. So there is fire that's like a burst damage, imagine like a firebolt hitting you like and burning you a little bit, or something that actually is like fire from the sky that is super strong and burns everybody. I don't know. And gives not to mention pyro would be OP used by player in any team without a priest. Yeah, that definitely not for every ability. Maybe, for instance, that fire from the sky, blazing sky, the one that we have right now in the game, but right now it doesn't really fall from the sky. It acts like a projectile, but we will change that. It will fall from the sky instead. What I wanted to say there... yeah, if it has long cooldown, deals damage over time. Okay, I'm gonna remove it like this, but maybe write it here. Drops a meteor of fire from the sky, damage all enemies in the area, and setting them on fire for 2 seconds. Being on fire. Units on fire run around like they are. Around until fire distinguished. I don't know how to write it. I got it. Wow. Being a fire, units on fire run around until the fire is distinguished. Drops a meteor of fire from the sky, damaging enemies, setting them on fire for 2 seconds. Yeah, I think, but with a long cooldown and maybe the area of the effect, it doesn't have to be like half of the map, it could be just maybe small like this, so it's... or it could be bigger, but maybe the burning damage is not that high. Maybe it's more like an effect for just units losing control than it's for damage. But I'm kind of attached to it now that I think about it, how awesome it would look like. A meteor falling down and hitting everybody, and then whoever got caught on fire who couldn't protect themselves with shield or whatever, they just run around screaming, and while the arrows are coming and they cannot protect themselves, or maybe there is an orc who is hitting somebody with axe and now they cannot really put up a shield because they're running around burning. So maybe that is interesting. So then most of the enemy teams will need to have Pyromancer to balance it. Still, an enemy team without a priest, which would be pretty normal, using Pyro would get those units out of the battle for good. The battle would the burning would last only for a few seconds or 2, something like that. So it wouldn't be that deadly, and it can always be balanced. Like the mage could only maybe do this once. Maybe it costs her all her mana, all her stamina to do this. Not only once, but it would take her maybe another 10-15 seconds to do it again. Then we can add maybe 7 seconds cooldown, so she can only do that if she has some team protecting her while she does that. And the priest removing that wouldn't be... It's nice because they're not running for that 1 or 2 seconds, but it's not like they can survive it unless somebody is attacking them at that point. Yeah, it all can be balanced out, especially if it's just that one ability that, or maybe another one for single unit or something. Doesn't matter. The balancing, we will definitely balance the hell out of it, and so no worries there. It's just, is it interesting to be in the game? That's more of it, because we can have, alright, right, so this footman is worth 1 point, orcs are 1.5, and mage is maybe 2.2 points or something like that, if she's really that much more powerful. But then you can put 2 other units instead of her. Or but I get it, you're not fan of having to have priest every time there is a mage, but not necessarily. Especially because priest could only remove 1 debuff from 1 character, and if the mage hits like 5 characters, the priest can help only 1 of them, so it's not that big of a help. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go now, but if I get some other ideas or something, I might do this a bit later, but I might not, because right now I feel like I have pretty much nothing more to share. But when you if you write any new abilities for this guy or whatever, send them to Discord, and we can talk about that. And as always, thank you for hanging out and helping us with ideas and whatnot. Alright, so see you around, man. Where is the stop button? There it is.